right. Sorry I took a week off. Pokopia came out, so I had to play it, obviously. A little breaking the fourth wall. It is currently March 7th, and the game is beat. The game is completed. I rolled credits, and now I'm ready to give a review. So if you'll excuse me for 1 second. So Pokopia just came out, and I cheated. I know, tomatoes. I cheated because I was so captivated by the game. Cute little characters running around playing as a Ditto. The story somehow got me. But whenever you want to build bigger buildings, it takes about a day, sometimes a couple hours. It's like Animal Crossing, right? Basically, Pokopia is you took Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon, and you merged them all together. Then you get Pokopia, which is awesome. It's a great game. But with that, I really like the story side of Pokemon, and this game had some really cool lore. And so I want to chat about that. So to start off, the trailer comes out. Everyone is hyped about Pokopia. Pokopia is a lot of what everyone can talk about for Pokemon Day. It's just super exciting to play as a Ditto that's also a human. It's really cute. It's like a cute concept. You know, we saw Pikachu, we saw Mosslax and Professor Tangrowth. We saw all three of them in the trailer. I'm gonna say spoiler free. Then there are other characters as well that are similar to Pikachu, Mosslax, and Professor Tangrowth that appear in your game and at different islands that are Pokemon that we've met before but have a different name because they serve a different purpose. In the game itself, we knew that the concept was building habitats. We knew that Ditto was gonna learn some different moves. We didn't know all of them that were gonna be on his move wheel, but now we do. We do know everything that's on there, and that was kind of it. It was just an exploring game, and we didn't know exactly what that looked like. And I'm pleased to say that everything you thought about the game is 100% true. It is an exploring game. It is really fun. The amount of Pokemon is larger than I thought it was going to be. And overall, just a really fun game, a really good game. With that being said, but the first island that you're at, you can spend 20 hours in. You can beat the game in 20 hours, 20 to 40 hours. You can also spend 20 to 40 hours in just your main island, in your very first island. It's 100% possible just because of how much you can do. In the first island, there is a beach, there are some mountains, there are little mysteries you can uncover, there's a stream, there's a cave. I know of some of my friends that are playing the game that built gardens and have fences around on their first island, and they're making beautiful habitats and homes and stuff for all these different Pokemon. I didn't do any of that. On pretty much all of my islands is just littered with grass leaf huts. Maybe sometime I'll stream Pokopia and you'll see what I mean. I just wanted to beat the game. That was my goal, because initially getting into the game, Professor Tangrowth talks about where the humans have gone and how to get them back, and that's pretty much the entire story. Before we get in the story, I'll first talk about the gameplay. The entire game, you are just doing quests very similarly to Animal Crossing in that regard of you get assigned a task to do, you have to do the task however you want to do it. I know in Animal Crossing, it's get your island to 3 stars and then do this. In this game, it's get your island to level 5 and then that's good. Then you've completed that island. And that's the entire concept of the game as a whole. And that's it. And then there's occasional oh, this Pokemon, we're trying to get it to rain. This Pokemon wants, or for whatever reason, we want this island to be more lit up, or maybe we're building a giant building, or whatever it might be. There's random quests. And it's just basically that, getting some Pokemon, when you're trying to get up to level 5, you'll talk to them and they'll give one, and then you have a couple choices, a pop-up menu, and it's follow me, talk to them, or ask about comfort level or something along those lines. Talking to them, they'll just do little one-liners. And then the most important one is what's your comfort level? And the what's your comfort level I'm talking about because it's very similar to the fetch quest where each Pokemon will be oh, I want a piece of decor, in my house or at my habitat, or they want something at their habitat or in their home in order to feel a little more comfortable. For some of them though, it's, oh, I want to eat this thing. Maybe it's a berry and it's pretty easy, or maybe it's a whole meal and you need to go get that for them. But whatever it is, that's the gameplay. There is very awesome visuals. It is beautiful. The entire environment that you're in is really cool. There's ways to move electricity and water, and terraforming is all at your fingertips of the player. And I think that's really awesome. It really does spark creativity. So I think the gameplay itself then becomes vast because of how much you can do. Now, is the menuing kind of clunky for me? Yeah, a little bit. It's very similar to Animal Crossing, but like grab a crafting bench, which, you know, that'd be like a DIY table in Animal Crossing, or just a crafting table in Minecraft. I think if I could craft in my inventory, I'd feel a little bit better. When I upgraded to the max level of my bag, I had zero complaints about the menu. The fact that I had 4 wheels, the fact that around that point, I also unlocked large storage chests, which had like swipe 3 pages, and then my bag had 4 large pages. I never was troubled by space again. And so I do think at times that can be a bit clunky, but overall, I have nothing but positives to say about the gameplay. It was beautiful as far as the aesthetic, and overall the game itself is a lot of fetch quests, but they're not boring. There was really cool environments to explore as you're doing these fetch quests. You're constantly finding new places on these islands, whether you're upgrading your powers and then you're able to get to new places, or you're unlocking surf, or you're unlocking whatever it might be, unlocking abilities and upgrading your abilities. The gameplay itself is great. Now, kind of transitioning into the story of it, I genuinely could not have predicted where the story was going. There are a lot of pieces of paper littered around the map, or maybe computers or tablets or things like that, and you grab them and it's like, oh, this is blah, 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 like explaining something. That's it. And it's like, oh, like this is explaining some character. Again, not to spoil yet. Then you get a new costume because of it. Or, oh, like it's explaining some group of people, and then you're kind of like learning from them. And I thought the story was amazing. I genuinely was like, I thought this was going to be more Animal Crossing-esque, where there kind of is no story, but hey, go build an island. And that's not what this was at all. There was a really cool story. Now, we're going to get into spoilers. This is going to be the timestamp of when the spoilers are gone, so skip here. I loved that you were in the Kanto region. I think that was a really, really cool touch, is as you're developing your habitats and as you're going to different islands and as you're reading these tablets, you're starting to realize, oh, wait, I'm in Viridian City. Oh, this is the actual SS Anne. Oh, this is Pewter City, or oh, they're talking about Brock here, or oh, they're talking about Lieutenant Surge, they're talking about Misty. At one point, you literally unlock a bridge to go to Pallet Town. Like, that is just a thing in the game. And I think that is so, so cool. I also really, really loved, as you're reading these like rocket hacker like things that are like, oh, we're trying to send humans to space and the Pokemon are going to be basically kept in like a PC kind of situation. And at first I was like, okay, whatever, is what it is. You know, they went to space and I got pooped out of like a PC. So I think my brain was also in that mode of like, oh, I'm playing as Ditto, not in the events of Fire Red, obviously afterwards or after Kanto, but I was trying to put myself of where am I in this lore? The fact that the SS Anne is here, the fact that this is Viridian City, the fact that like a lot of places are in this game. Now, to talk about that a little bit, I saw some things online that were suggesting that the mine in Rocky Ridges was Mount Moon, and that the museum that you find Gimmighoul in was the museum in Pewter City. I don't think so. Like, I never got that vibe, but if it was, that's also cool. Like, I think there's a lot of ways that that is just awesome. I don't know where the Sky Island kind of fits into any of it. It's definitely Saffron City. Because the dojo is there, and that's another thing, is you can help Poliwhirl build the dojo, and that's really cool. The fact that Mewtwo spawned out of a Master Ball was one of the coolest cutscenes I have seen. That was, my jaw was on the floor. So I think talking about these spoilers, it's like the story itself was so cool. Like they really took time and care to put this random Animal Crossing game to correlate it with the game that we know and love. And I think they did an excellent job. I have read every single tablet in the game, and so I can confidently say that your Ditto, to my knowledge, at one point, the Team Rocket hacker or Team R's hacker, they leave a lot of like little articles. I believe that's your trainer, and I believe that's who's in the rocket at the very end when it blasts off, and that's who's like looking at the picture. And I choose to believe this for a number of things. The rocket itself is right next to a room, right where Magnemite flies out of at the end, but it's right next to a room, so you know this is a rocket admin, a Team Rocket member's rocket. I like to believe that's your trainer's house. Then after the credits roll, the rocket hits a person, an astronaut, who has the Ditto plushie and the flower. So the Ditto plush plus the flower. So I'm like, okay, I'm willing to bet that this astronaut comes from that spot, so a Team Rocket hut, and their Ditto's trainer, right? Like, so those are my correlations. And I think that makes the most sense, because a lot of the time I was like, why is it Rocket hacker? Like, why do I care about this tablet? So I think that was really cool. I think it was an awesome touch, and I think that the story, for me, 10 out of 10. I thought that was so cool. Was I kind of hoping a little bit that like humans would eventually come back to Earth? Yeah, maybe. And if they ever do a DLC of this game, I'm sure it's going to involve that in some realm. I could also see them just adding one more island and then more. So talking about the story, I just think it was awesome. I thought it was great, and I thought the aesthetics were amazing. Now, finally, I want to talk about stability of this game in the long term. First and foremost, I've seen some things talking about Pokemon Champions, and are we going to see Pikachu, Moslax? If it's in Champions, I'm bringing it to my first tournament. I swear, I'll do it. I don't care. First and foremost, visiting each other's island. You can only do it in your personal island. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but it's your personal island. And once you're there, you can leave spectator mode, or turn it off rather when you invite your friend. And then you can sit in there and you can play, and it's really cool. The second thing that I want to talk about is I think this game is sustainable. I think this game was so fun. I loved the gameplay. I loved the aesthetic. I loved the story. I don't see this game going away for a very long time. With that being said, my story islands look atrocious, but my personal one, I won't lie, looks pretty good. Maybe I'll do an island tour sometime, maybe when it's better, because it's not perfect yet. But regardless, that's all for the video. What I will say is I'll rate the game out of 5 Pokeballs. And out of 5 Pokeballs, I give it we're gonna go 4.5. Will we go 5? I don't have anything negative to say. We're gonna give it a 5 out of 5 Pokeball. Look, 5 Pokeballs. Pokeballs right here, all 5 of them right there. 5 Pokeballs out of 5. Did you play Pokopia? Do you agree with my understanding of the story? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and with that, bye-bye.